Hello everyone, this is Chef Gaurav from My Delhi Centerline, and today we are going to cook Delhi Kadhai Gosht. It's a simple recipe but very popular in our restaurant. I try to further simplify you so that you can cook at home. Chalo, let's start cooking. We are starting with the first step, which is the most important step, the Kadhai masala. So Kadhai masala is, you take say a flat tablespoon of coriander sage, half tablespoon of cumin sage. You take 2 chilies, dry chilies, just spread them up. Basically try to roast them up, then slowly roast them up. Basically keep your flame too low, don't make it too high, so that it's started to roast. Then add say 1.5 inch of cinnamon, 4 cardamom and 15 black pepper, 4 cloves. So we're just trying to roast it slowly. And roasting of this on a slow heat helps to make it dry and you get the fragrance, the flavor out of the spices. So that will help you. Okay. So that's ready enough. You can smell the spices when you will cook it. It's a video, you can't see it, but I can smell them. That means the spices are ready. And then now we let them to cool down. And then we powder it. So now the spices are at room temperature and we are going to powder them. Put it into a blender. If you don't have a dry blender like this, you can use a rolling pin or you can use a water tester. And anyways, you have to crush them. If they are not very fine, that's absolutely fine. But this is an important step to make this curry because we won't be using too many of the spices into it. This is the core spice for it. Basically, it's blending now. See, it's getting coarse. I don't want it to be very, very fine. It should be coarser. See, you can see the spices. They started to now blend. The chilies, you can see. I don't want them to get over powder. Otherwise, I would have used chili powder. So this is what I want. So most of the things are powdered into it, but still you can see a little bit of coriander, a little bit of husk of cardamom, little bit of chili. So basically it's a coarse spice. So now let's start the real cooking. Okay. So first we put oil. So I've taken 100 ml of oil here. Might look a lot, but if you look at traditional kadhais, they need a lot of oil in it because there's no water into the dish. So we have to cook in oil. We have to actually fry the chicken and all the spices in the oil. So it has a bit of oil. If you are a bit concerned about the oil, you can cut it by 25 ml and take 75 ml of oil. Only the shine would have some issues with nothing else. But I want to make it how a chef cooks, so it's the restaurant style. I've taken one medium to large onion, so which is 1 cup of onion. So what I do, I generally take the measurement in terms of numbers, but also measure it in the cup for the ease of viewers who want to make it. So that goes in. So now the next thing, the onions are getting cooked, so I put salt. That's what I do generally so that the onion cook faster, they caramelize faster. Just want to trade, whenever you want to cook your food faster, just put the salt in onions and just it helps to cook the onion faster. We're going to just cook them for a while until they're golden brown. So onions are now cooking, you have to make sure. So basically I'm trying to fry the onions, So it's more than sweat start to caramelize. It's the stage where we add garlic. So there's 5 cloves of garlic which I've just coarsely sliced. So I'm trying to make a street style recipe, how they eat the street. So very coarse in terms of texture, not very fine. So now this is something you can do it optional. I added 2 green chilies. It's up to you how hot you want your kadhai to be. And then I add say about 2 inch of ginger julienne into it. Again, I have not chopped them, but I kept them coarse because I want it to look like very rusty curry. How the kadhais are eaten on the street. I'm not going to cook anything too much. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the spices into it now. First is turmeric powder for a little bit of color. Basically, I'm trying to color my sauce. So say 3-4 tablespoons of turmeric powder and a tablespoon of Kashmiri chili powder, or you can use paprika if you are in somewhere in Europe, in India or Pakistan or Bangladesh Anywhere you can very easily find a Kashmiri chili powder, which is more for color, less for heat, because the heat would come from the green chilies, the heat will come from the kadhai masala, so it's more than enough. See, it has a good color. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put half a kg lamb. I have diced quite small so that it will faster into it. That goes. We're going to mix everything together and let it cook. Everything is mixed together. Now generally when we go to a lahori kadai shop, they generally pressure cook the lamb to cook the lamb faster, because you are hungry by the time you start cooking. The smell goes in your nose. But we are trying to do it in an open pan. What I will do, I will add a cup of water into it, so that the lamb faster and that doesn't dry, the spices doesn't burn. So I added a cup of water and let it cook till you can see it's starting to boil, and then we simmer the flame and then we add in tomatoes into it. So now you can see the oil has separated, it's coming on top. Lamb is cooking well in the water and the fragrant components of the sauce. I'm going to add the most important ingredient of this curry, the tomatoes. So traditionally, kadai is always cooked with tomatoes, just tomatoes. But I have used onions to give it a deli touch. How we perceive a kadhai gosht to be. So 1.5 cup, which is approximately 3 medium to large tomatoes, which I've gone into it. So that's very important. They need to cook well with it. So now we are trying to put the final ingredient, not the final ingredient, the last to the final ingredient to it, the kadhai masala which we have grounded. What I'm doing it, I'm adding it now, all of it, because it was all measured up. I could add it at the last like a garam masala. People will say, why not you doing it at the end? Because I want the spices to get into the meat well. You can see now the kadhai is ready. It's up to someone how dry they like the kadhai to be. For me, it's an ideal kadhai because I ate it with naan. So this is an ideal kadhai. The oil is started to ooze out. If you can see, the oil is oozing out. Lamb is tender now, tender to eat. You can eat it. The lamb is ready. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put some Kasuri methi on the top, because Kasuri methi goes well with the tomatoes, as I told you, and it's good to finish off with something fragrant like this. Switch off the gas and enjoy your kadhai lamb. Let's taste how it is. Really very good.